the first thing you notice is the silence. Not because the world is quiet, because there are no engines, no traffic, no televisions playing in the background, no phones vibrating in someone's pocket. Only birds, the wind moving through the trees, and dozens of people already working before sunrise. You are one of them. At 10 years old, nobody expects you to behave like an adult. But nobody expects you to stay idle either. In the modern world, childhood is often separated from responsibility. Children have schools, parents have jobs. Work and play are divided into different parts of the day. 15,000 years ago, that division didn't exist. Learning, working, playing, and surviving were all the same thing. You don't wake up wondering what game you'll play today. You wake up wondering where today's food will come from. Maybe you'll help gather berries hidden beneath thick bushes. Maybe you'll collect edible roots buried deep underground. Maybe you'll spend hours searching for dry branches after yesterday's rain. Every day is different, but every day requires movement. And that's exactly how evolution designed it. Here's something most people never think about. Ancient children didn't exercise. The idea would have sounded ridiculous. Why would anyone spend energy running, lifting, or climbing if those things weren't helping them survive? Today, millions of children play sports after spending most of the day sitting. Ancient children never needed to schedule physical activity. Life itself provided it. Every task, no matter how small, trained another part of the body. Walking strengthened endurance. Climbing built powerful arms and shoulders. Carrying water developed balance and stability. Digging for roots strengthened the back and legs. Even gathering firewood became a full-body workout. Without anyone realizing it, childhood had become nature's perfect fitness program. And perhaps the most incredible part, they weren't forcing themselves to stay active. They wanted to move, because movement wasn't punishment. It was adventure. Every hill could hide something new. Every river crossing was a challenge. Every animal track became a mystery waiting to be solved. The world itself was their playground. But unlike today's playgrounds, this one had real consequences. A careless step could mean an injury. A raw decision could mean getting lost. A loud noise might scare away tomorrow's dinner. Which meant something fascinating happened. Every movement mattered. Every mistake became a lesson. Every successful climb, every accurate throw, every long walk, slowly transformed children into capable survivors. And scientists now believe this wasn't just making them stronger, it was changing something even more important. Their brains, because for ancient children, movement and learning were never separate. In fact, they may have been exactly the same thing. Chapter 1: Play was secret survival training. Imagine watching a group of ancient children from a distance. They're laughing, running, throwing sticks at tree trunks, chasing one another through tall grass. At first glance, it looks exactly like play. But look closer. Every game is teaching something. Every challenge is preparing them for a world where mistakes can be fatal. Modern children often play games designed by adults. Ancient children played games designed by nature. No coach stood on the sidelines. No one explained the rules. The environment did. Miss your target, and tomorrow's hunt might fail. Lose your balance on a fallen tree, and one day you could fall from a cliff. Run too slowly, and you might never catch the animal your family depends on. Their games weren't separate from survival. They were survival, disguised as fun. And this isn't just a romantic idea about the past. Anthropologists studying modern hunter-gatherer societies have noticed something remarkable. Children spend thousands of hours playing, but their play almost always imitates adult life. Young boys throw miniature spears. Young girls gather plants alongside older family members. Groups build tiny shelters, practice tracking footprints, pretend to hunt invisible animals. To an outsider, it looks like imagination. To evolution, it's education, because long before schools existed, play became humanity's first classroom. Think about throwing a stick. To most children today, it's just something to do at the park. But for an ancient child, every throw teaches distance, timing, accuracy, patience, the muscles in the shoulder, the movement of the wrist, the coordination between the eyes and the hands. All improve with every attempt, without realizing it. Their brains are building the same neural pathways they will use years later while hunting real animals. And climbing? That wasn't simply entertainment either. Ancient landscapes were filled with rocks, trees, riverbanks, and steep hills. Children climbed constantly, reaching for fruit, escaping danger, exploring new places. Every climb strengthened muscles. But more importantly, it trained balance, judgment, and confidence. Modern playgrounds are designed to be safe. Ancient playgrounds were designed by nature. There were no soft rubber floors, no safety rails, no warning signs. Every successful climb rewarded skill. Every mistake taught caution. The lesson stayed with you. Because forgetting it could be dangerous. Perhaps that's why ancient children learned so quickly. Failure wasn't embarrassing. It was information. And their brains absorbed it every single day. But here's something even more fascinating. Scientists now believe all of this movement wasn't just building stronger bodies. It was literally shaping the developing brain itself. Every run through the forest, every climb, every jump across a stream, every game of chasing friends, was strengthening the connections inside the brain. Movement and intelligence were growing together. Which raises an incredible question. If ancient children spent nearly every waking hour moving, what did that constant movement actually do to the human brain? The answer might explain why evolution never expected childhood to be spent sitting still. Chapter 2. The brain was built to move. Close your eyes for a moment. And imagine trying to survive in the ancient world. There are no maps, no street signs, no GPS, no internet telling you where food can be found. Everything you need to know lives inside your own mind. Which trees produce fruit, and which ones are poisonous? Which animal tracks belong to a harmless deer, and which belong to a hungry predator? Where fresh water flows after heavy rain, and how to find your way home without ever getting lost. An ancient child wasn't just exercising their muscles. They were training one of the most powerful survival tools ever created. The human brain. Today, many people imagine learning as something that happens while sitting quietly in a classroom. But for almost all of human history, learning happened while moving. A child would remember the location of hundreds of edible plants. Because they had walked those same paths hundreds of times, they learned which berries were safe. Not by reading a book, but by seeing older children collect them. They memorized rivers, hills, animal trails, and hidden shelters, simply by exploring them over and over again. Every journey became a lesson. Every mistake became a memory. Every success strengthened the brain. Scientists have discovered something fascinating. Physical movement increases blood flow to the brain. It helps create new neural connections. And it supports the development of areas responsible for memory, attention, and decision-making. For ancient children, this process wasn't something they did for 1 hour during gym class. It happened almost every waking moment. Their classroom had no walls. Their teacher was the landscape itself. Imagine following your older brother through a dense forest. He suddenly stops, without saying a word. He points to the ground. At first, you see nothing. Then slowly, your eyes notice a faint footprint pressed into the soft earth. A broken branch, fresh leaves scattered in an unusual direction. Someone else would see dirt. You begin seeing information. This is how ancient children learned. Not through lectures, through observation, through repetition, through movement. Day after day, their brains became experts at noticing tiny details most modern people would completely miss. And perhaps that's why they matured so quickly. By the age of 10, many ancient children already possessed practical knowledge that adults today might never learn in an entire lifetime. They knew how to read the weather without an app, how to predict rain from the wind, how to recognize dangerous animals before seeing them, how to navigate unfamiliar land using only the position of the sun, and they learned all of it while constantly moving. But here's the incredible irony. The very body and brain that evolved through this active childhood is almost the same one sitting in classrooms, cars, and in front of screens today.